Thank you. And Councilman Martin has been very gracious tonight, very gracious, and I certainly appreciate that. And let me just start by saying I'm not his boss. We are partners in this venture, and representing the city of Houston. And I know that, and I look forward to working with him as he represents you, Kingwood, as well as Clear Lake. And tonight we're in Kingwood. Last night we were in Spring Branch, and on Thursday we will be in Clear Lake. I know the city council members have already been acknowledged, but let me just do it one more time because I work with each one of them, and I certainly recognize it's going to take us all working collaboratively to make that happen. And so it's always good, again, to be with Councilman Kubosh and Councilman Robinson, Councilmember Amanda Edwards, and Councilmember Mike Knox. And then tonight you have a number of the department heads that are here as well. Let me just take a few moments, and my voice, I'm trying to hold on to it. For those of us who are native Houstonians, you know how right around this time allergies and everything else starts to kick in. And so I'm drinking a whole lot of stuff, trying to keep it going. But let me just say, I know when it comes to Kingwood area, it's mobility once, mobility twice, and mobility 3 times. I know transportation, mobility are critical components. And we want to work with your council member as well as the others to make sure that Kingwood is represented in every sense of the word. And we've talked about things that are happening on Kingwood Drive. I know it's now 4 lanes and looking at expanding it from 4 to 6. And I think it's in the CIP. We're going to work to try to pull it up a little bit closer than what it is currently in the CIP, and we're going to look to try to do that, to make that happen sooner rather than later. At least that would be my hope. And then I know that there are things that are taking place on North Park Drive, and I think the TERS is very actively engaged in that and extending that to 3 lanes. I think expanding that, doing some work on the Esplanade, covering up the drainage area. And I know the trees in Kingwood are very precious and dear, and so we certainly want to do everything to hold on to those. And then I think the TERS is also working in collaboration with TxDOT. In fact, I think the TERS was prepared to spend even more on that particular project, but TxDOT has stepped up and I think has indicated a willingness to do even more. A few weeks ago, I spoke before the Texas Department of Transportation and indicated to them the legislature, and I certainly want to acknowledge Representative Dan Huberty, because I've worked with him for many years in the legislature. But over the last several years, we provided additional funding to TxDOT, to the Texas Department of Transportation, because there are more people moving into the region. And in the next 20 years, it's estimated that 3 million more people will be living within our region, which is the equivalent of putting another Chicago right here in the Houston region. That's a lot of people. And so with the number of people coming, which means we've got to do some additional things to make sure that it's easier for people to go from point A to point B. And so I talked with them about utilizing additional resources, especially in the Houston-Harris County area. It is one of the most congested areas, and there are some major plans now to deal with congestion across the state, and this happens to be one of those areas. And so hopefully, in working with the city and working with the TERS, working with your council member, we will be providing additional areas. We just got to look at doing some different things, providing multiple choices, whether it's dealing with some sort of commuter system. That's one possibility. The bike and the park and rides work very well, but a number of different options are going to be needed. And then it's estimated, because Texas is growing and this region is growing, that there will be 1 billion daily truck trips on our streets. So we're moving people and we're moving freight. And when you're moving people and freight, which means we're going to have to come up with a smarter way of getting people from point A to point B, and I look forward to working with your council member on that. But transportation, mobility are critical components. I do want you to know, and one of the reasons why I wanted to be out here tonight, because oftentimes when people talk about the city of Houston, they speak in terms of downtown to the loop and everything within. I came out this evening to let you know that the city of Houston entails 640 square miles. I wasn't around, didn't annex you. I wasn't here. I wasn't the mayor at the time, so please don't saddle me with that. I'm going to say the same thing to the people in Clear Lake. I wasn't the mayor at the time, nowhere close to where decisions were being made, but you are a part of the city of Houston. And I think you certainly deserve to have people that represent you, represent the entire city, and that's what I intend to do in working collaboratively with your city council member. Now let me just speak on another thing. You may not have as many potholes as in the rest of the city of Houston, but you know, potholes are potholes wherever you may hit them. When I came in fact, I heard quite a bit about potholes and the condition of the streets in the city of Houston. I announced on Squaring In Day that we were going to assess and address those potholes by the next business day. I want you to know, for many people said it could not take place, it could not happen, but since I've been in office, working collaboration with the city council members and with their help, we have filled more than 10,500 potholes in the city of Houston. Okay? And I certainly want to give credit to the Public Works Department with Dale Rudick and his crew, because they have assessed and addressed those potholes by the next business day 95% of the time. And when I came into the office, I asked them, how do you define a pothole? They said 2 feet by 2 feet. And I asked them, well, what percent of the problems when people are calling represents that number? They said 7%. And so what I indicated to them, if we fix 100% of the 70% problem, do you think the people of the city of Houston are going to applaud us for that? They said, absolutely not. And then I asked them, what do you think a Houstonian thinks an average pothole is? And they said 5 feet by 5 feet, you know. Well, I want you to know we're not here to play games or trickery or any of that. We are dealing with potholes. Our definition is 5 by 5 feet. That's what they are assessing and addressing by the next business day. And now that we are on top of that, Public Works is now extending its range, and we are now repairing the more serious street repairs, panel replacements, and skid patches. And now utilizing your dollars on We Build Houston, we want to make sure that those dollars are used for their intended purpose. And when you look in the plan that's going out, we're making sure that many of those dollars are flowing into the Kingwood and Clear Lake area. And then lastly, what I would say, all of it leads to finances. And you know, we are facing some major problems as it relates to finances with the city of Houston. We are engaged in what we call a hiring freeze. We're not hiring anyone unless it's critical, and then I have to sign off on it. With respect to vacant positions, pretty much 80% of any position that's vacant, we're not going to fill. I've asked every department to provide me with budget cuts of 5% to 7%, and we are now utilizing that. With respect to our unfunded pension liabilities, already met with the different groups and indicated that the cost curve must go down, all the way down, and that we have to have a plan to deal with the unfunded liabilities by the end of the year. It's my hope that by the end of the year, we can go to Austin, to the legislature in January of 2017, and come forward with a system that will get our unfunded liabilities in check, and we will get that done. That will be a balanced budget, and that's my pledge to you. So let me just say, you know, I thank Council Member for his gracious comments. I do look forward to working with each one of you. I do fully understand you are in the city of Houston, that you are in the donor class. You're giving more than you're receiving. But what we can do is give you a city that works efficiently, prudently, and that works in collaboration with you, the TERS, the Texas Department of Transportation, and everyone else that impact directly upon your lives. I look forward to working with you, and thank you for having me out this evening.